Get ready, Staten Island.
The Ferry Hawks are back at SIUH Community Park July 7th to the 12th for a 6-game series against the High Point Rockers. Tonight, first pitch is at 6:30. It's Thirsty Thursday with $5 Bud and Bud Light Drafts. Friday, July 10th, first pitch is at 7 p.m. May the Force be with you on Star Wars Night with post-game kids glow around the bases with special lightsaber training packs.
Visit ferryhawks.com now to lock in your seats.
WABC New York, WRCR Haverstraw, and 107.1 WLIR Hampton Bays.
It's the 77 WABC News Hour.
Talking the news with Noam Laden.
All the news you need to know with Joe Nolan, traffic, Justin Ellick, sports. And now,
Talking the news with Noam
on 77 WABC.
Yes, that's me. Good morning. It is Monday, July 13th. Your forecast from the 77 WABC Weather Center. Mix of sun and clouds today. High 84. Tonight and overnight clear, low 71. And then the heat comes in. Tuesday, sunshine, warmer, high 95. If you're walking out the door with us right now, 67, partly cloudy in New Rochelle up in Westchester. It's 63 and clear in East Windsor over in New Jersey. And it's 67 and clear right outside our Midtown studios.
This is the Top 5 at 5.
Chaotic moments at the Jay-Z concert last night in the Bronx. The number of New Yorkers contracting Legionnaires continues to rise. We look back at the life of Senator Lindsey Graham. Yet another report that confirms the rent is too damn high in New York. And a New Jersey man details how he was almost thrown off a flight for the shirt he was wearing. All right, let's get into it at 5:04. There was some chaotic scenes at Jay-Z's third and final Yankee Stadium concert last night after a security breach delayed the show. Now, thousands of fans were seen outside the stadium waiting to get inside. A police source says a large group broke through the security, prompting this full lockdown of the stadium. You know what it was is they just tried to figure out, we get the largest group of people we can, and then we bum rush the turnstiles, and that's what happened. So for a while last night, the show was supposed to begin at 8. Nobody was allowed in or out of the stadium.
They bum rushed gate 2. Bum rushed. People went past security, were not checked, and got into the stadium. They closed down gate 2. We went to gate 4. Same thing happened.
Yeah, so fans for a while had no idea what was going on because the show was supposed to begin at 8 p.m. The gates reopened not until 10 o'clock. And then there was a ton of NYPD cops. You had the stadium personnel slowly letting everybody in.
I don't appreciate the unprofessionalism from Yankee Stadium staff. They were taunting us and they were laughing at us.
Now, Jay-Z eventually is another rapper. Jay-Z eventually took the stage. It was about 12:15 this morning. So fans were anxiously awaiting for the hip-hop icon because the 2 nights before, he had brought out his wife, Beyonce, Nas, Alicia Keys during one night, Eminem for night 2. And the fans eventually got in. And even when I was driving in this morning at 2:30, he was still on stage.
There was no staff person outside. So you have thousands of people who's been online. I chose not to be online because I don't want to be trampled or anything like that. But you have thousands of people that's been standing online and every gate for the stadium is closed.
Okay, but in the end, Jay-Z did take the stage and apparently was incredible. What is a full circle moment for him in celebration of the 30th anniversary of his seminal album, Reasonable Doubt. It's the beginning of it's hard to even call it a tour, but he's got a number of shows, London, Paris, Los Angeles in the months ahead. Of course, New York is where he's from, and why he was so excited to be up on stage there last night. While we're up in the Bronx, cops searching for a group of men who stabbed a 46-year-old man to death in the Fordham Heights section on Sunday. Police say they responded to a 911 call. It was about 7 in the morning for a man who had been stabbed. When they arrived, they found the victim, multiple stab wounds to his arm, other parts of his body, apparently some sort of verbal argument with a group of men. This man saw the stabbing take place.
10 guys, They tried one guy. They come from party last night. After that, one guy got sick. One guy got nice stabbing.
Yeah, I don't know that I understood exactly what he was saying, but the victim was rushed to a local hospital where he was pronounced dead. The victim's name has not been released. The group of suspects ran off in an unknown direction. No word on a motive of why they jumped him and what that verbal fight was all about. WABC News Time 5:08. The number of New Yorkers contracting Legionnaires, that went up over the weekend. New York City Department of Health ordered 31 buildings to drain, disinfect their cooling towers after testing positive for Legionella bacteria. The health commissioner talking about the populations that he's most worried about contracting the disease.
Individuals who are over the age of 50, individuals who smoke or vape, individuals who have a chronic lung disease.
Yeah, the populations you might guess. New Yorkers in the affected neighborhoods, mostly on the Upper East Side, say they've been paying attention as close as they can.
I believe that if you're healthy, it's generally not going to be too harmful, but if you have respiratory illnesses, older, I am old.
Now, the City Council Speaker, Julie Menon, calling out City Hall about how the mayor has handled this Legionella cluster in her East Side district. She says by not immediately ordering all towers to be disinfected, as she had advocated for from the beginning, it's possible, she says, that more people will become sick. Now, so far, thank God, nobody has passed away like 7 did last summer from that Legionella outbreak in Harlem.
I've been closing the windows, but my understanding is they've remedied it. But I'm not taking any chances.
Yeah, the health department's still trying to determine which cooling tower caused the outbreak on the Upper East Side. Now there's some Legionella detections on the West Side now.
The Guggenheim Museum in New York City was among at least 31 buildings on Manhattan's Upper East Side testing positive for the bacteria that causes Legionnaire's disease in this latest outbreak. The city health department on Friday releasing that list, ordering those buildings to clean and disinfect their cooling towers. More than 45 people have been sickened in the latest outbreak, but none have died. 7 people died during an outbreak last year. The health department says Legionnaires is not transmitted person to person. People often contract it by breathing in tiny droplets of contaminated water. Julie Walker, New York.
Now, the Ardsley on Central Park West in the 90s, they decided just to test their cooling tower, even though the Legionnaire's outbreak had been confined to the Upper East Side. And when they discovered bacteria that causes the disease, they notified the neighbors in the building, saying they plan to flush out and disinfect the hot water system. There are more than 50 confirmed Legionnaires cases across the cities. Again, thankfully, so far, no deaths. 5:11. Let's go down to South Carolina. Lindsey Graham died very suddenly on Saturday night at the age of 71. He passed away in Washington, D.C. It was a heart-related issue. President Trump says Graham was like a member of a family to him. He mourned the death on NBC's Meet the Press, which was where the South Carolina Republican had been scheduled to appear on Sunday morning.
He's a tough one to lose. He was great. He was unique in every way, actually.
The president said he spoke to Graham just hours before his passing, saying other than sounding tired, he was fine. He was on his way back from a trip to Ukraine. President Trump described in the phone call.
He sounded a little tired, but perfect, but a little bit tired. Had a right to be. And he was a worker. No, he was really a worker. And, he had a unique ability. He was able to deal with Democrats and Republicans. If I had a problem, a real problem, I wouldn't often ask. But if I had a problem with a Democrat, he could work it out.
Now, President Trump spoke about Graham's legacy.
He's got so many legacies, but one of the legacies is a Supreme Court justice who's excellent named Brett Kavanaugh. That's one of the legacies. That's a big legacy.
South Carolina Senator Tim Scott talking about his friend Lindsey Graham after his death.
It is a morning of mourning for me. It's a powerful reminder that life is fleeting, that we are not here very long.
And NBC News says emergency personnel responded to a call for a cardiac arrest at Graham's Capitol Hill home on Saturday night. And photographs show paramedics carrying a person on a stretcher from Graham's home to an awaiting ambulance. Tim Scott says the death of Lindsey Graham devastating to everybody in South Carolina.
He was just the kind of committed person that you don't really appreciate how committed he was to America. I can't think, Jake, of a more committed public servant to this country.
And a statement from Senator Graham's office says the senator's family appreciates prayers at this time, asks for privacy during this incredibly difficult period. And I wrote a long piece. You can head over to WABCRadio.com. I was pretty friendly with the senator for 2 years while I had hosted a show, morning drive show in Charleston, South Carolina. So you can read my personal thoughts on the senator and a little bit about his backstory, which, if you don't know, is really a fascinating one, from the time he was born until I wrote the article from the time he was born up until he got into politics, because he led a pretty interesting life up till then. So you can check that out at WABCRadio.com. 5:13, Kentucky Senator Mitch McConnell breaking his silence after he was hospitalized nearly a month ago. News Nation's Nick Smith reports the 84-year-old released a statement yesterday along with a photo of himself and his wife at the hospital.
His doctor says McConnell fell at his home last month, where he was admitted to the hospital and recovered from minor injuries. His doctor says he developed pneumonia early on while at the hospital. McConnell said in the statement, quote, "My doctors have confirmed that I didn't break any bones or suffer a concussion. I didn't have a heart attack or a stroke. I don't have any tumors or hemorrhages, but I was briefly unconscious and was taken to the hospital."
Now, McConnell says while he understands his constituents expect their representatives to work hard for them, he still has unfinished business to complete before he retires come January. 5:14, let's go overseas. Attacks continue to escalate in the Middle East as peace negotiations between the U.S. and Iran appear to have just totally broken off at this point. News Nation's Robert Sherman has more.
For the third time in the last week, American forces carrying out strikes on Iran after a commercial ship was hit going through the Strait of Hormuz. Iran retaliating into the daylight hours here in the Middle East to Jordan, Kuwait, Bahrain, Qatar, where we are. Explosions in the sky above us in the early morning hours here. The UAE's air defense systems were activated, and even Oman came under fire. One of the more extensive retaliations that we've seen.
Now, U.S. Central Command says the Strait of Hormuz is open, while the Islamic Revolutionary Guard struck a commercial ship and claimed the strait is closed until further notice. Mike Waltz, who is the U.S. ambassador to the United Nations, says the talks between the U.S. and Iran have broken down, and he says Iran is not living up to the memorandum of understanding and all the options that are on the table for them.
Regardless of whether you're party to some conflict, you cannot start shooting in all directions, attacking your neighbors, attacking civilian shipping, civilian infrastructure, throwing mines in international waterways.
The country's Islamic Revolutionary Guard announced it was closing oil shipping lane in the strait because a vessel was traveling on unauthorized route. He had more to say about that.
This was a performance-based MOU. Iran is not living up to it, and all options are on the table. We saw that from our great U.S. military overnight.
All right, so Iran this morning claims attacks on Bahrain, Kuwait, Oman, and Jordan, saying it hit U.S. military sites in retaliation for Washington's renewed bombardment of its southern coast. The exchange of fire comes a day after the U.S. military said it hit at least 140 targets in Iran, and Tehran launched retaliatory attacks on Bahrain. So it is a mess and continues to be a mess in the Middle East. And in a moment, we will continue to be overseas. Another runner has been gored in Spain's running of the Bulls. We'll get into that, and it's an American. We'll get into that story in just a moment. But first, 5:16, let's head over to the 77 WABC Sports Desk. Happy Monday. Good morning, Justin Ellick.
Maybe I should include that in my sports update here. No, Martin. That's, I think, technically a sporting event, right?
I think it is. If you're running away from a bull, that is a sporting event.
The running of the bull.
Yeah.
And an American gets gored by the bull that clearly overpowers a human being.
Yeah.
But these imbeciles, really, I mean, just idiots, continue to go out there and do this year after year.
I agree with you, but I would love to do it anyway.
Okay.
Wouldn't you love to just jump out there and then run as fast as you can from a bull?
No. I mean,
I realize it's stupid, and that I could be killed, but it sounds like it would be a fun event to take part in.
Okay, they moved me from center field to the corner outfield, like back in college, because I wasn't fast enough to cover center field. So if I'm not fast enough to cover center field of a Division III college baseball team, then I don't think I'm qualified to do the running of the Bulls.
Right. You may be right.
Right.
It was nice knowing Noam.
I mean,
I would, how they jump the fence and they put their legs up in the air when I would do that. I would just get out of the way.
Sure you would. Yeah, in your your cute little
sounds great.
Yeah, your cute little outfit that they make you wear, right?
Meanwhile, back on Earth,
yeah,
here's what I'm doing.
Exactly. I'll read your eulogy. How about that? No, my God.
Yeah, you start.
Yeah,
he was such a nice guy, but a little stupid,
but also crazy at times.
Yeah, a little impulsive.
Hard to predict where home would go.
It was a bucket list, At least
maybe I'll just do that tomato fight thing.
Right.
That might be safer, yeah.
He died doing what he loved. That's for sure.
Meanwhile, here with the news is the Bulls.
All right, well, in real sports, out in Washington, Ben Rice hit a 2-run triple in the top of the 8th inning. They give the Yankees their third straight come from behind victory over the Nationals. The final score 5-3 to complete the sweep. New York, which has won, 4 in a row overall for the first time since June 13th to the 17th, tied the White Sox with their 8th win when trailing in the 8th inning or later for the most such victories in the American League. They are 6-34 when trailing after 7 innings, with half of the wins coming in this series. Up next for the Yankees, they'll return after the All-Star break come Friday against the LA Dodgers. Back at home in the Bronx, they sit 3 games back of Tampa Bay, heading into the break in Queens. The Mets fell 3-2 in 10 innings to the Red Sox, suffering a sweep at the hands of Boston over the weekend. Francisco Lindor misplayed a potential game-ending double-play grounder for an error that led to Boston's 2-run 9th inning. New York lost for the 16th time in 22 games, and at 40-57 matched its season low of 17 games under 500. They started the season with the Major League's highest payroll, had not been 17 under at the All-Star break since they were 25-44 in 1995, I should say. Lindor hit an RBI double in the first and homered in the 6th. Up next for the Mets, they'll open their second half come Thursday following the All-Star break, remaining in Philadelphia against the Phillies in the only scheduled game of that day. Home Run Derby is tonight, 8 p.m. from Citizens Bank Park in Philadelphia. You will see hometown Ben Rice, the New York Yankees slugger, of course, in that competition. 8 others across the league will compete tonight. Again, 8 p.m. from Citizens Bank out in Philly. And then tomorrow night, it's the All-Star Game, American League versus National League, 8 p.m. from Citizens Bank. Toronto's Dylan Cease to start for the AL against Philadelphia's Christopher Sanchez for the NL. Check in on the World Cup as well. Tomorrow, 3 p.m. from Arlington, your semifinals will get underway. France and Spain there. And then Wednesday, you get the other semifinal between England and Argentina. That's 3 p.m. from Atlanta. And we'll go to the UK yesterday. Yannick Sinner beat Alexander Zverev to win his second consecutive title at Wimbledon. And Linda Noskova won the women's side of things. She defeated fellow Czech player Karolina Muchova in the final to claim her first career Grand Slam championship. That is your Sports Noah, man. I'm Justin Ellick on 77 WABC.
Thank you very much, Spencer. Spencer.
What?
Justin. Traffic Transit.
That's the name of his pet bull.
Okay. You know what? You can figure out 545. Have fun. Right?
It is Monday. Traffic Transit. I think this guy's name is Joe Nolan.
You want to hear something even funnier? I always wanted to do that, too.
What's that? Oh, run the Bulls. Yeah, of course. It's not too late. Maybe next year we'll go.
It is not. No, for me it is. I'm done. I'd last about 10 seconds. But in any event, yeah, I'm with you. I always really wanted to do it. Yeah, I thought it'd be fun to do.
Where's the one they do the tomato thing, or they throw tomatoes at each other?
Oh, that's way easier. You just get hit with tomatoes.
Yeah, let's do that one next year.
Yeah, it's easy.
Yeah.
It doesn't have the same uniform, though. It's a little different.
No, and you just get hit by tomatoes.
Yeah, you just get hit by
tomatoes. But it looks like fun.
Yeah.
WABC News Time 522. Of course, as we've been telling you, they've been doing the running of the Bulls in Spain.
It's that time of year again in Spain, the San Fermin Festival and the running of the Bulls in Pamplona. On the 5th morning of the 8-day festival Saturday, 6 bulls, along with some steers, charged through a narrow street on a 2.5-minute run from a pen to the bull ring, knocking down thrill-seeking humans along the way. One runner was pierced in the face. 12 more people needed medical treatment. I'm Donna Warder.
Yeah, I'm not sure I want to do that. 5:23. Let's bring it back home. Go up to Maine. Graham Plattner made it official that he is dropping out of the U.S. Senate race in Maine. So now everybody trying to figure out what happens next. University of Virginia political science professor Larry Sabato tries to figure out who might take his place.
The Democrats finally got a little bit of good news for Maine. This certainly doesn't compensate for the fiasco that we've seen unfold in that state, thanks to Graham Plattner. But he's filed early. He had planned to do it on Monday, which was the last possible day. And, occasionally there's traffic and you miss things. So apparently someone got to him and talked sense to him.
And I butchered Larry's name. It's Sabato. More from Larry.
The Democrats need every day they can get to pick his replacement. And they only have a couple of weeks, and they have to hold a convention in there somewhere, or they're planning on holding a convention. So Plattner dropped out. The state party issued a kind of application form for this particular Senate seat, and these applicants are even going to write an essay.
Yeah, it seems like a lot of Democrats want that spot when they, did who put your hands in the air if you want to run for the seat. It seems like almost every Democrat in Maine raised their hand. 524, this story got kind of buried on Friday because it's a summer Friday, not for any particular reason, but the Pentagon released 40 new UFO files with infrared footage describing unusual flight behavior. More on that from Tom Dempsey.
An infrared sensor aboard a U.S. military platform captured a UAP in the sky. That video lasts over 20 seconds before the object suddenly disappears from view. And also an account from astronauts aboard the Columbia Space Shuttle back in 1996. 3 images released by the Department of War show an unidentified object in low Earth orbit, with the object appearing to rotate.
Now, I was looking at some of this. I wasn't so impressed. But the drop also includes debriefings from the Apollo 14 and Apollo 17 missions. 525, let's go out to Southern California. We got a big update overnight on a big fire in Southern California.
Crews have made significant progress on the Summit fire, and forward progress has been stopped.
Yeah, that is the Los Angeles County Fire Department head Marco Rodriguez. He says the fire there, which has been burning in northern L.A. County since Friday, now 15% contained. A couple of buildings, almost 2,700 acres have been destroyed. Thankfully, they've been able to so far save all the homes, but this thing is spreading.
Significant winds are coming into the area, and also a potential of thunderstorms. So we're just being cautious and making sure that we don't have any reignition or any other spots.
Yeah, one firefighter's been hurt battling this huge blaze.
It was a minor injury. The person was taken to a local hospital and released. Nothing, no major injuries as far as this fire.
Yeah, and authorities keeping an eye on possible strong winds, monsoon-like storms that could bring rain, but also lightning that could reignite the fire or spark new ones. That's some of the fears there this morning. And 526 over in Colorado, they're still fighting that huge Aspen Acres fire in southern Colorado. Now, over the weekend, you had both of Colorado's senators checking out the fire from above.
The story of volunteer firefighters who came to fight these fires while they were losing their own houses in the community is a real inspiration for, I think, all of us.
Yeah, that's Senator Michael Bennett. There are at least 337 homes, more than 850 structures destroyed in the Pueblo and Custer County fire so far.
So many of the houses up there it's like a miracle. They were spared, but it's because somebody put the time in. That's not a bunch of money. It's not a bunch of time, but they hardened the area around there and defended the perimeter of their home.
It's now the 7th largest in Colorado history, this fire, in terms of size, having burned through more than 97,000 acres. 527 in the Los Angeles neighborhood of Boyle Heights, neighbors growing more and more frustrated after weeks of dealing with the warehouse fire and its aftermath. Remember, this is this food warehouse where they could not get to the fire for a week. It was burning, and in this neighborhood, they closed their windows, the smoke, the stench so bad. Now it's the rotting food, like millions of pounds of rotting food they have been unable to really clean up. So there was a meeting with Mayor Karen Bass, and a crowd was not happy with her. When she took the stage, they booed her.
We have issued thousands of boxes of food, grocery cards, and hygiene kits. We have offered cash assistance to impacted households.
Boy, I don't blame these neighbors. They are fed up. They want to know when they can expect to stop smelling millions of pounds of rotting food. They want a timeline for the cleanup process.
When you're worried about an ammonia leak, the ammonia is up front.
For those of you who are here representing us, I would like for you to come, sleep where we sleep, so you can experience what we have to go through.
Yeah, so many feel the response from the city and the warehouse operator, whose Lineage Logistics has fallen way short.
It's the 77 WABC News Hour.
Talking the news with Noam Laden.
All the news you need to know with Joe Nolan, traffic, Justin Ellick, sports. And now,
Talking the news with Noam
on 77 WABC.
Yes, that's me. Good morning. It is Monday, July 13th. Your forecast from the 77 WABC Weather Center. Mix of sun and clouds today. The high's going to be 84, and then we're going to turn it up a little bit. Tonight, an overnight clear, low 71, but Tuesday, sunshine, warmer, the high going to be 95. If you are walking out the door with us right now, it's 67, partly cloudy in New Rochelle up in Westchester. It's 63 and clear in East Windsor over in New Jersey. And it's 67 and clear right outside our Midtown studios. WABC News Time 541. For all the bad stuff people say about the Big Apple, still everybody wants to live here. Housing prices just hit another record high in the city.
I mean, it's pretty expensive. It's definitely a premium to live in New York, but it is a very nice city.
Yeah, so alarming new numbers from the real estate firm Corcoran show that in June, median rents in Manhattan surged to numbers we have never seen before. The average in Manhattan now, $5,295 a month. That's like a studio or a one-bedroom. Brooklyn also hit a record high, $4,350 a month for rent. Both of those numbers up 8% from the same time just a year ago.
The landlords are not running social welfare programs. It's not like I'm, let's love the landlord, but I mean, they provide a service. They're doing it for a profit.
Yeah, so New Yorkers saying, look, you live in New York, you got to pay.
They're constantly raising the rent every year. People don't get increases in salary.
They should just put a freeze in it for a couple of years.
Yeah, so those record high prices have extended to the Bronx and Queens as well. Rego Park, one of the hardest hit now. The average rent prices for one bedrooms there, they surged 12% from May of last year to May this year, and studios were up more than 20% there.
Most New Yorkers have rent burdens that are unmatchable, along with rising rates of inflation and everyday necessities like.
Yeah, so New York City Comptroller Mark Levine says that the problem is simply just supply and demand. There's just not enough apartments for everybody who wants
one. This is a crisis. Rents are going up everywhere for one simple reason. We don't have enough housing. We are seeing the average cost of housing easy $750,000 per unit, and sometimes more than $1 million per unit.
It's insane. Levine calling on lawmakers now to streamline regulations, make sure office to residential conversions continue even after last week's construction incident at the old Pfizer building on East 42nd Street. 5:43, just a tragic weekend on a basketball court in Harlem. 35-year-old Canoe Rockford. He was a talented basketball star who made it from the streets to Brooklyn to the European basketball leagues. He played college ball at Fairleigh Dickinson. He played in the pros in 9 countries for years and then was shot dead at the Kingdom basketball tournament in Harlem on Friday. He wasn't even playing there. He was just there to support some of his friends. Police are looking for the shooter, who also injured 2 others. Now, Canoe's family, they held a vigil last night on the basketball court he used to play in Brooklyn.
It's crazy. I had somebody reach out to me from England, from France, even Jamaica. Somebody called me from Portugal. These are the places that he played in. And everybody is reaching out. And nobody has anything negative or bad to say about King.
Yeah, hundreds of people turned out to honor him last night at Brooklyn's Wingate Park, letting go of balloons, lovingly overwhelming his mother, brother, and sister. He was triplets, part of a triplet, so now unfortunately down by 1.
He went there, and I was expecting him to come back home.
The effect that he had with the community and the people, because you know what I'm saying, he was a positive man, positive brother. We're gonna miss him.
Yeah, Canoe was just the pride of the neighborhood. So far, police don't have a whole lot to go on, don't have a motive.
This is why we try to get through to the youngsters to put these guns down. It's very essential. Gun violence is tearing the streets up.
Keenu's name should be known. He died unnecessarily, and it's not fair. It's not right.
Yeah, that was his mother last night. Again, police have made no arrests. In a moment, we'll head over to Sheepshead Bay in Brooklyn, where a new shelter for homeless men causing a whole lot of outrage this morning. We'll get to that in just a moment. But first, 5:45, let's head over to the 77 WABC Sports Desk. And here's Justin Allen.
Thank you, Noam. Late in sports, sponsored by Pete Morgan and Peerless Boilers. Go to peerlessboilers.com to find a deal under you. Peerless Boilers, the world's best built boilers out in Washington. Ben Rice hit a 2-run triple in the top of the 8th inning to give the Yankees their third straight come-from-behind victory over the Nationals. The final score 5-3 to complete the series sweep. Now 3 games back of Tampa Bay heading into the All-Star break. And up next for them, they will return after the break come Friday against the LA Dodgers back at home in the Bronx. You will see Ben Rice in tonight's home run derby. It's 8 p.m. from Citizens Bank Park out in Philadelphia. In Queens, the Mets fell 3-2 in 10 innings to the Red Sox, suffering a sweep at the hands of Boston over the weekend. Up next for the Mets, they'll open their second half come Thursday following the All-Star break, remaining in Philadelphia against the Phillies in the only scheduled game of the day. And again, you do get the home run derby tonight, 8 p.m., and that's before tomorrow night's All-Star game, American League versus National League, again, 8 p.m. from Citizens Bank Park out in Philly. Toronto's Dylan Cease to start for the AL against Philadelphia's Christopher Sanchez for the NL. Check in on the World Cup semifinals begin tomorrow, 3 p.m. from Arlington. France and Spain, I should say, will get going before Wednesday's other semifinal gets underway 3 p.m. from Atlanta. That's England and Argentina, all for the right to play in the final coming up Sunday at MetLife Stadium. And in Wimbledon, Jannik Sinner beat Alexander Zverev for his second consecutive title at Wimbledon, and Linda Noskova won the 2026 Wimbledon women's singles title. She defeated fellow Czech player Karolina Muchova on the women's side of things. That is your sports, sponsored by Pete Morgan and Peerless Boilers. Go to peerlessboilers.com to find a deal under you. Peerless Boilers, the world's best built boilers. I'm Justin Alec on 77 WABC.
WABC News Time 5:48. Let's head over to Brooklyn. New York City planning to move more than 100 vagrant men into a shelter in Brooklyn. It's in Sheepshead Bay, the former Gold Star Inn. It was converted last year into a shelter for homeless families.
There is absolutely nothing wrong with homeless people, a homeless shelter. It is not about that. It is where it is placed.
We are also concerned because these are our neighborhood.
Yeah, people in the neighborhood not happy at all. New York Post is reporting that 55 families who live there now are being moved out to make way for 110 male vagrants who haven't been vetted for criminal backgrounds, including sex offenses. The facility faces a popular park for families and children. Brooklyn Councilwoman Ina Vernikov sent a scathing letter to the Department of Social Services last week, claiming that loitering, drugs, and criminal activity go hand in hand with single male shelters, and they don't want it in the neighborhood.
We're here to bring awareness because a lot of people who live in this community do not even know that there's a homeless shelter coming here.
Now, the Homeless Department telling the New York Post that fewer families are entering the system and that they're now trying to address a stigma against single adult men shelters because they are experiencing homeless in bigger ways than families are. So they're trying to do that while maintaining a good neighbor policy. But in this neighborhood in Sheepshead Bay, they don't want that shelter there. 5:50, let's go up to the Bronx, where drivers who stop or park in bus lanes or at bus stops are going to get warnings starting today. The MTA launching a 60-day warning period for its automated bus lane enforcement program on 2 Bronx routes, the BX11 and the BX17. During that time, drivers who illegally stop or park in bus lanes or block designated bus stops will receive warning notices that'll tell them that the next time this thing could be a fine. After the warning period ends, they'll start handing out what are pricey tickets, as they should, because you shouldn't be blocking a bus lane.
I'm hoping that it gets better, because when you promote change, you just gotta flow with it for a while before it starts working. You know, and maybe it'll get people to stop being in the parking lanes and parking in front of the bus stop.
Yeah, you're just slowing down the buses, which could be slow already. The cameras are designed to identify vehicles that illegally park or stand in bus lanes or obstruct bus stops. 5:51, a member of the city council pushing legislation to ban live fish as prizes at fairs and carnivals. Queens city council member Vicky Palladino says living animals should not be treated as novelties. She says she was inspired to introduce the bill after an incident in Whitestone that saw a group of teen boys allegedly torture a fish they had won at a carnival. Now, I don't know if they still do this, but when I was a kid, do you remember that ping pong game where there would be a whole bunch of fish bowls and you would have to bounce a ping pong into the fish bowl. And if you did, then you got to take the fish bowl with the fish home. And then invariably that fish would die a couple days later, probably from the pounding of the ping pong balls. Event organizers who would violate Vicky's law would face a $100 fine for the first offense and up to $2,000 for repeat offenses. If passed, the city would join Berkeley, California, along with the states of Connecticut and Iowa, who also prohibit the practice of selling those goldfish at fairs. 5:52, let's go out to Long Island, where cops there arrested a Shirley man after they say he was involved in a road rage confrontation that turned physical on the William Floyd Parkway over the weekend. Suffolk County Police say 41-year-old Michael Nelson punched another driver during an incident near Sunrise Highway. It was like 3 p.m. The victim was taken to the hospital with injuries, and he's going to be okay. Now Nelson's been charged with harassment, and he's got a court date ahead of him. That, as Long Islanders say, these road rage incidents seem to happen all too often.
That's horrible. It shouldn't be happening. I'm really scared that, I have a daughter that's, driving. I don't want her to get hurt.
Yeah, of course not. The arrest comes 2 months after another violent road rage incident in the area. Back in May, police say one driver stabbed another driver in the neck during a confrontation in Mastic.
I think people got to relax. People got to take a huge chill pill. Yeah. A lot of honking, a lot of beeping. People don't have the patience for people to go at a green light, take their time and everything like that. People just really... they're impatient around here.
Yeah, AAA says aggressive driving continues to just be a huge, widespread problem, not just on Long Island, but nationwide. Research cited by AAA finds that 92% of drivers admit to engaging in at least one aggressive driving behavior, while 11% admit to violent actions such as intentionally bumping into another vehicle. It's hard to imagine people would do that, but they do.
It makes me want to move back to the city. Oh. Coming from the city, this is more nonsense out here than there is out there. It's going to, I feel, get worse because of summer and traffic.
No, we've had our share of violent incidents here in the city. Out to New Jersey, where a man there says his T-shirt nearly got him kicked off a United Airlines flight. Sam Sadeh was on a flight traveling from Atlanta to Newark last month while wearing a T-shirt that said, "Bombing kids is not self-defense." Sadeh is of Palestinian descent, says the T-shirt holds a deeper meaning and advocates for children in Gaza. Now, while a flight attendant saw the T-shirt as he boarded the flight and told Sadeh that he would have to take it off or he'd be booted from the flight.
I was very confused when the guy asked me to get off the plane. He was like, "Hey, the flight attendant finds your shirt offensive." And I was like, why? Here's your other choices. Either you change your shirt or you can't get on this flight.
Yeah, I mean, when you wear a shirt like that, what do you expect? I'm not just saying that one. There's tons of others that a flight would ask you to change as well. Sadeh says he was confused, though. When a supervisor pulled him off the plane just after boarding, he said he didn't think there was anything offensive about the T-shirt, and he felt humiliated and upset. Now, he did opt to change his shirt because he needed to get on the plane home. But when he got to the airport at Newark, he wanted a deeper and longer explanation.
She kept saying, you can see how the shirt is offensive. I was like, I can't see how the shirt is offensive. She was like, it's 2026. I was like, I know what year it is. Do you think kids shouldn't be bombed or kids should be bombed? What are you offended by?
Now, a United spokesperson said in a statement that this customer flew as scheduled after changing his shirt. And they say, as per the airline's rules, which is posted on its website, United has the right to deny to transport passengers who are not properly clothed or whose clothing is lewd, obscene, or offensive. They regularly do this, but Sadeh says he's going to consult with lawyers now. He wants to sue United.
At the end of the day, this shirt, to me, is very clear that I think bombing kids is wrong, regardless if you're Palestinian or if you're from Mobile, Alabama.
Yeah, Sadeh says he has filed an official complaint about the incident with the United States Department of Transportation. And when it comes to the T-shirt at the center of the situation, he says he'll continue to wear it.
Thanks for listening to the News Hour with Noam Laden. You can hear the News Hour with Noam Laden weekday mornings at 5 on 77 WABC. If you like the podcast, share it with your friends and listen anytime at WABCRadio.com and download the WABC Radio app. Hit that subscribe button on all major podcast platforms. Plus, follow WABC on social, on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and X. See you next time for a new episode, so you never have to wonder.
What the heck is going on here?